Hey, what is up, guys? Long time no see. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now. Big things. I'm not even gonna mention it. I don't need to, exactly what I'm talking about. Hope everyone is doing okay. I guess I'll just mention it. Apple just released a new iPad Pro. I know it's insane. No one was expecting it, so I hope everyone's doing okay, dealing with the stress of knowing there's a brand new Apple product out right now. In the meantime, though, Apple has a problem. They're having issues. Why, you may be asking? Well, with the release of the new iPad Pro, they've added trackpad support and mouse support. That means you could connect any old mouse or trackpad from any old supplier to any old iPad Pro with iOS 13. So not any old, but most old iPad Pros which support iOS 13, and that is really, really nice. You can't even use the next generation Apple Pencil with some of those old iPads, yet you can use any trackpad. They keep saying it's not a computer, but with the new trackpad support, though, this opens up a problem, because people are going to start turning to the iPad Pro as their main PC. They keep saying that the specs of the iPad Pro are way better than all competing PCs. But that includes their own. They make PCs. You may have forgotten, they also sell the MacBooks and the MacBook Air. In fact, they just updated the MacBook Air along with the iPad Pro at the same time. So you have to suspect that a lot of people will be thinking, do I go for the iPad Pro or the new MacBook Air in updating my PC? And that's a question that happens to be something that I am thinking as well. I've been looking to upgrade for a long time from this old 13-incher. 128 gigabyte SSD, 8 gigs of RAM, 13 inches, 2015 base model. It's not great, not very quick, and especially with this new camera, I'm trying to kind of expedite my editing. I have to convert every file from this camera, and the nicer the computer I have, the faster that will happen. But that begs the question, do I go for the new iPad Pro, or do I get like a 16-inch MacBook Pro? And really the only thing holding me back from getting the iPad Pro is that there isn't Final Cut Pro on the iPad. If there was, I would for sure be going for the iPad Pro. It's essentially like a MacBook. It's got a trackpad, it's got a touch screen, and it can do pretty much anything that a MacBook could. As they always say, its specs are matching those of a random PC, but it's holding me back. There is no Final Cut Pro on iPads. In fact, a lot of companies are not really spending the time to create nice professional softwares for iPad. And I bet you Apple's pretty happy about that, because this is a problem, as you saw in the title. Apple knows that a lot of people are gonna stop buying their MacBooks and go for the iPads. It's the same thing with, like, for example, an Apple Watch. This isn't an Apple Watch, but imagine that it was. Say they added like a bigger screen to the Apple Watch, and they added a camera, and it's got cellular. Well, now all of a sudden it's essentially just an iPhone, and you don't need an iPhone anymore because you've got the Apple Watch. Or like if they made the screen a little bigger on the iPhone, like it was the Galaxy Fold, and it unfolded like this, and it became an iPad, essentially, then you'd stop needing the iPad. And it's the same thing now with the iPad. They're making the iPad so good, adding a trackpad, and maybe eventually adding Final Cut Pro, which would really make me want to get it, but then it makes me not pay more for the MacBook. So yeah, Apple's got a pretty big issue on their hands. They need to know what the line is for upgrading their smaller or less important or less professional products, so that it doesn't cross into the territory of their professional products and make you stop buying their professional products. Does that make sense? It's like if you took the iMac and they upgraded it a ton and they added a bunch of new RAM, well, then it would essentially just be an iMac Pro, and you don't need the iMac Pro, and you could keep going on forever and ever. As soon as you make something that's a little bit lower tier as good as the higher tier product, and the higher tier product isn't good anymore. I made a video about this last year with the MacBook Air, their first generation new MacBook Air, where it was worlds better than the MacBook, but it cost less, because they had upgraded their lower tier product of the MacBook Air to be better than their higher tier product. Apple's having issues, but it seems like they've got it under control. While this is still kind of an issue, and for people that don't edit with Final Cut Pro, maybe they only need Microsoft Excel, there is Excel for iPad. So for those people, I could totally see why you'd want an iPad Pro as a computer. But for me, as of right now, I can't consider getting one because there's no Final Cut Pro, and that's a deal breaker. That's what I edit on. There's also no Premiere, and will Adobe ever make Premiere for iPad? I don't know, and I don't even know if Apple would let them. They probably realized that a lot of Premiere editors would switch to iPad. And the probability of them making a Final Cut Pro version for iPad, especially keeping it with the same capabilities that they have on the Mac, are pretty close to zero. If they're not stupid, they understand this. Let me know. I have a little poll up here. What computer do you guys think I should get? iPad Pro with Final Cut Pro, if that ever happens, of course. This is totally a myth. Probably will never happen, but if that does happen, do you think I should get that? Or a 16-inch MacBook Pro, which would be great? Or do you think I should go for some sort of other option, not Apple? Do you think it's worth switching to Premiere from Final Cut Pro? Do you think it's worth I even explore outside of Final Cut Pro and Premiere? Head to another software entirely? I mean, is there anything else on the market other than Premiere and Final Cut Pro? Dare I say another option? So let me know in the comment section down below and up there, whatever direction the survey is in. So yeah, hope everyone is doing good, and I hope to make more content for you all in this time of quarantine. I know we're all stuck inside because of the snow. Big issues going on right now. So I will see you guys next time. Hopefully Apple fixes their problem and I guess doesn't add Final Cut Pro. I don't know, guys. I want Apple to fix the problem because I'm a big Apple fan. However, if they fix the problem, that means not adding Final Cut Pro to iPad, because that means they'll differentiate it, and we don't want that, right, Matthew? No. So I'll see you guys next time. I'm Jack. Peace out.